Hello, and welcome to the debut of my second channel. I would like to start this off by just saying thank you guys for all of the support you've given me. It really does mean a lot. I've wanted to do a second channel for a while now because I wanted to experiment a little bit and go a bit unscripted. I'm doing a Q&A for my debut because I think it's the best way to open it up due to the fact that I'm going to be trying something completely different from my main channel. And that is to just go freestyle. I can talk about anything I want that doesn't have anything to do with what I talk about on my main. I can talk about myself, I can talk about life, I can talk about video games, I can talk about some internet related stuff, whatever the fuck I want. And I feel like that's something that I can upload a lot more frequently is if I make some bonus content out of just being myself. I also plan on interviewing some people because the vast majority of you voted yes on my poll, and the reason, as I stated, on why I want to interview people is because I like to get a better understanding of others, regardless if I know them personally or not. It sounds weird, but doing something like that gives me a new perspective in life and helps me understand people a lot more. Like, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. Some of you watching on YouTube may not even know this, but I am a very existential person. I tend to question a lot of things about life and why we even exist in the first place. Sometimes I get in a mood where it's like we don't deserve any of this, but ever since I started doing YouTube way back when, getting to communicate a lot easier with other people is something that I never thought I could accomplish due to the whole mental state I was in. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of myself for being able to build up a community where I feel welcomed and loved and respected. Because back then, I didn't have any of those things, and I feel like it mainly has to do with the fact that not only did I have a very shitty social life, but I just didn't willfully improve it at the time. So yeah, I'm happy to be here right now because objectively speaking, I am a better person than I was, and I get to have the friends I've never had before. Being a cringe-friendly neighbor aside, now it is time to answer a lot of questions I got on my community post. I've delayed it long enough with me being sappy and shit, but I'm gonna go ahead and just get right into it. Starting from the very first question to the very last question. Jargon asks, what is your opinion on Synthetic Man, and do you think there is a way to cure his brain rot? Synthetic Man is just an enigma in of itself. Like, I don't think Synthetic Man is wrong all the time, like 24/7, but the way he just commentates on things and calls everything woke is just, I don't really like how he operates when covering video games or any pieces of media. Sometimes I feel like Synthetic Man is very racist as well because there'll be one character that is a person of color and he'll just lose his shit over it. Like, I don't think he understands the concept that just because a person of a color exists in a video game or any other media, it's not just being inclusive for the sake of inclusivity. I know sometimes people do that, they like to be inclusive just for the sake of being inclusive, but they don't always. And I feel like most people like Synthetic Man need to learn the definition of what woke is because I feel like it's just being thrown around left and right for no good reason. Person Man Guy asks, what made you decide to do YouTube in the first place? Okay, so back when I was still a fan of Mischief, there was a guy named Smash, Super Smash 97, and they were talking about Outriders at one point. Actually, I'm pretty sure I said this in my interview with Samuel, but like, yeah, I'm fine with repeating myself. But yeah, there was a guy named Smash in Mischief's server, and they were talking about Outriders. I think Smash was mad at Synthetic Man for saying Outriders is a bad game, and then Mischief was like agreeing with Synthetic Man, and I think that's why Smash got upset. So then this entire discourse in his server starts going down to the point that Smash leaves the server, then starts stalking Mischief online, like I think it was his Twitter. This is like back when he was known as I'm Also Alex, by the way. Yeah, he was just kind of being really stupid at that time, and then I decided like, yeah, I should make a video on this. And then ever since then, I started the channel that was known as Nier Fanboy, and yeah, I just made some videos. That's how my channel came to fruition. That is how I started my YouTube career way back when. Like, I don't think it's anything special on why I started it, I just felt like doing it at one point. Green Eye Gaming asks, what game genres do you really enjoy? I like first-person shooters, obviously, they're goated. I also like a bit of RTS, games like StarCraft, stuff like that. I like RTS games, they're pretty cool. I also can't wait for Stormgate. Stormgate looks badass. I've been getting a lot into roguelikes, like, I like Risk of Rain 2, I like Dead Cells, I like Crab Champions, I like Robo Quest. Some fighting games here and there like Soul Calibur and Killer Instinct and Mortal Kombat. Hack and slash games are pretty cool too. I gotta finish DMC5 at some point. I guess some game genres I don't really like in particular are things like rhythm games or puzzle games, or games that try to be realistic. Oh, walking simulators too, I don't like those. I'd say I have a pretty healthy variety of what kind of games I like and what kind of games I don't like. I mainly do play first-person shooters, but occasionally I'll also play other stuff like RTS games because I love RTS. Survival games too. I like 7 Days to Die a lot. I think 7 Days to Die is a really good survival game despite the fact it's been in an alpha state for so long. Holy shit, it's been in alpha state for so long. Although with survival games, I'm a bit picky on them. Like, it depends on what the contents of the game are and how it plays. Like, Valheim is a survival game I played, right? And I ended up not liking it all that much. And it mainly has to do with how the game works. But yeah, first-person shooters, RTS games, third-person shooters, roguelikes, stuff like that I tend to really enjoy a lot. Sir Chubbs asks, what's your thoughts on Patrick Star? He's a silly goose. That Patrick guy, he's just a very silly goose. Patrick does have a lot of his moments too. Like, he's really fucking stupid, but he's a pal. He's just best pal. That's what Patrick is. He's your big dumb best friend. I like how stupid he is sometimes, but he's also just a pal. Potato King asks, who's the better potato? Well, it's definitely not a British potato, I'll tell you that much. Joseph Hungerford asks, what's my top 3 favorite games from last year? I don't know that much about games from last year. Baldur's Gate definitely is one. Baldur's Gate is just really good. What the fuck are the games from last year? I don't know that much about games. Oh, Lethal Company. Lethal Company as well. That is really, really good. It's gotta be one of the best indie games ever made. Am I just retarded? I don't know the games from 2023. Okay, so Your Only Move is Hustle was technically released to Steam on February 2023, so I am also gonna say Yomi Hustle. Dude, everything about Yomi Hustle is just so fucking good. If you guys don't have Yomi Hustle, you need to pick it up right now. Yomi Hustle is just, oof, mwah, it is so good. Jakey asks, what are my top 5 death metal bands? Okay, so Revocation is my first one. They are the GOAT. There's also Arcspire, there's Black Dahlia Murder. Job for a Cowboy is a band that I discovered recently. They're pretty good. Shit, I can only pick 5. There's so many, I know. Let's go with Thyard is Murder as the last one. Do you guys know about this band collage I made? I'm pretty sure it's the biggest one. Like, let me pull it up right now. So I made this entire band collage in Paint 3D, and I'm pretty sure I counted like over 400 bands on there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this band collage that I made is like the biggest one ever. I don't know if there's any other bigger ones. I tried looking it up on Google. I don't think there's any band collages bigger than this. But like, this was some retarded side project I made while I was in school. I made this in high school out of fun. I just didn't care, man. I was like the biggest metalhead ever back in the day. I mean, I'm still a pretty big metalhead, but like most of the bands on there I completely forgotten about, but for the most part, yeah, that was really fun to make. Desher asks, who's my favorite femboy? Astolfo, because I'm literally him. He just like me for real. Dr. Drag asks, are you beater or bitter? I'm beater. What kind of a fucking question is that? Alright, Master of Gaming has a few questions for me. First one is, how did Griffin Gaming bring himself to constant controversy? I really don't want to say his opinions, but I feel like that's enough at this point. Like, he has just the most baffling takes imaginable, and half the time he says his takes, he gets into controversy. Like, I don't understand how people take him seriously, man. It's wild. I'm sorry, but his opinions, they get him into controversy half the time. Like, look at the fucking Activision fanboying he's been doing recently. He fucking sucks Bobby Kotick's dick, bro. Like, I don't know. I don't know about that one, Chief. Number 2, who's worse, Synthetic Man or Jim Sterling? Definitely Jim Sterling. Jim Sterling literally weaponizes their trans identity in order to shield criticism. And they're also just a massive fearmongerer. Like, yeah, Synthetic Man's retarded, but Jim Sterling is way worse. What is my most anticipated game of 2024? I don't have an anticipated game of 2024 because 2024 just started. I don't even know if Stormgate's coming out this year because they're taking their sweet ass time with Stormgate. But if Stormgate is coming out this year, then yeah, it's Stormgate. I'm flip-flopping, I'm bipolar. Are you tired of the culture war? I am. What? I don't understand that last question, I'm sorry. Okay, so Mr. Raygun's question is similar to Jakey's. It's just, what's some of your favorite metal bands? I mean, it's not exclusively death metal, but it's kind of similar to Jakey's. I do like Megadeth, because we're not doing exclusively death metal anymore, but Megadeth's pretty cool. Testament as well, I like Testament. If you want to go into more deathcore, I like Carnifex a lot. I feel like Carnifex does deathcore really well. There's a lot of bands I really do like. There's Draconian. Draconian's a bit more of a slower and sadder kind of band. I also like a little bit of Dream Theater. Dream Theater's pretty cool, though they're kind of a mixed bag. There's this band called Hypocrisy that I was shown to by my friend My Name is Death. Hypocrisy's pretty cool. I listened to a couple of their songs. Bloodbath is also pretty pog. Vector is pretty cool. Like, they're supposed to be thrash, I think, but they do a lot of other, like, metal archetypes other than thrash. Like, they're crazy. You go listen to a Vector song and tell me they're not crazy. I could name a lot more, but I think I'm just gonna call it from there. Silent Joker asks, what's the hardest game I've played? I mean, it was probably a Souls game, which I don't play Souls games all that much. I mean, Dead Cells is pretty hard too. I beat Dead Cells once on like the lowest difficulty. Then ever since then, I've started playing on the hard difficulty, and I have not beaten it since. So I guess the answer to that is Dead Cells. Dead Cells is pretty hard. I gotta finish it at some point, because Dead Cells is really fun. Rocky Rady asks, what's my personal top 5 favorite movies or shows of all time? So top 5? Spider-Verse. Definitely Spider-Verse. It's up there. You said shows. I don't know if that includes cartoons, but fuck it. Regular Show. Regular Show is awesome. If you dislike Regular Show, you're just wrong. Okay? Regular Show is the magnum opus of cartoons. If you don't like that, you're just wrong. I'm sorry. Oh, and if we're gonna include anime, there's this show called Terror in Resonance. It's so sad, but it's also really good. It's made by the same guy that made Cowboy Bebop, I think. 2 more. I like some of the Netflix Marvel shows that were on Netflix. Now they're on Disney Plus because Netflix is gay. But Daredevil and Punisher are the best Marvel shows I've ever watched. Wait, shit, that's 5. Okay, I guess we're done with the question now. I could point out more, but he specifically asked, you know what, I'm just gonna throw one more in there. Transformers. Transformers is just dumb fun. Like, why the fuck not? Transformers, it's just watchable, okay? Not really much more there is to it. It's just robots that transform into cars and they fight a lot. Like, it's just dumb fun. CWP24 asks, are there any games from other genres you've never tried before that you're interested in trying out now? Examples, Yakuza / Like a Dragon series or Project Wingman. Any game you can think of. Well, now that you mention it, there is one game in my Steam library. Let me go ahead and pull it up real quick. But from the same people that made the Souls games, I do have Armored Core 6, and I do want to try it out. It does look really good and really fun. I'm just way too distracted with games like Ultra Kill and StarCraft and whatnot. There's another game too that came out recently that I'm really interested in called Buckshot Roulette. It looks really luck-based, but at the same time it does look really fun. So I'm willing to try those games out. I Ate Your Lizard asks, what are some YouTubers that you look up to? So I used to look up to Mama Max, but that's not a thing anymore. So Markiplier's one of them. Markiplier's just, he's really wholesome, he's really nice, and it's Markiplier. You can't really say anything more. It's Markiplier. Everyone knows Markiplier. It's Markiplier. He's the E guy. He's the best. He's one of the best YouTubers out there. Another person I look up to is, it may sound a bit weird, but Winter StarCraft. He's a streamer on Twitch. He plays StarCraft a lot and other games, but he's a really nice commentator. I like his content. He's just very entertaining to watch. Very entertaining to listen to as well. He's a pretty funny guy. There's also Lemino. Lemino does all these analysis videos on like, he does like documentaries that are just out of this world. Like the amount of effort that Lemino puts in his videos is actually astounding. Deadly Kitten asks, why are you gay? Psycho. V1 the War Machine asks, what's your secret to such beautiful eyes? Are my eyes really that beautiful? Thanks, I guess. I don't really have a secret. I just have beautiful eyes, I guess. Most of you probably don't know this, but my eyes are actually green. I have green eyes, which is the rarer eye color, so Maybe that's why he's calling my eyes beautiful. Janian asks, on a scale of 1 to 10, how brother is your Nier? Sir, I think the actual question should be, on a scale of 1 to 10, how near is your brother? And to that, I would say, it's a 10, buddy. It's a 10. Mirage Barrage asks, why choose Brother Nier, of all people, to name your channel after? I mean, isn't it pretty self-explanatory? My previous channel name was Nier Fanboy. So, like, yeah. I like Nier games, I name myself after Nier games. It's a no-brainer, that's why I chose that. Although, with Netherless, that is a more unique name, and that is why at some point I will rebrand my main channel into Netherless. Yol Joe123 asks, when will my dad come home? I can't answer that for you, buddy, I'm sorry. Best of luck to you about your dad, though. I hope he comes back with the milk. Nocturnal 2003 asks, do you think people like A British Potato or Mama Max have the ability to crawl out of the hole they've made for themselves? Also, what are your thoughts on the band Converge? Seems like something up your alley. Yeah, I actually do listen to Converge. They're pretty good. As for British Potato and Mama Max definitely not. He has done so much wrong to the point of absurdity, and he is tripling and quadrupling down with all of the recent actions he's done. Like, there is no way that Mama Max is coming back from that. His career is over. As for British Potato, maybe? And that's a big maybe. Like, he is capable of redeeming himself in some level. Like, he's nowhere near as bad as Mama Max, well, except for the fact he threw someone in front of a car. But, like, to some degree, I do think he is capable of redeeming himself. I just think it's because he doesn't want to. Like, he's blatantly admitted in his channel that he wants to commit a self-destruct, so I don't think he's going to redeem himself anytime soon. Strelix Sarchenkov asks, as the you of this present, how would you have made your past videos if you could go back in time? Would you have changed something about any of them to make them better? Well, first of all, if I could go back in time and change how I did things, the dark side of Griffin Gaming would not exist. See, back when I made older videos on Nier Fanboy, I had this mentality of, I just want to shit on people. I want to demonize people, and I think it had to do with the fact that back then I was way more misanthropic than I am right now. If you met me back then, I would probably be the edgiest motherfucker you've ever met. And that's why I said earlier, I'm objectively a better person than I was back then. Another thing that played into it was that back when I made those videos on my previous channel, I was brand spanking new to doing commentary videos. So most of the time, I did not know what I was doing. And the dark side of Griffin Gaming made that very apparent. Critical Thinker asks, 1. Out of all the people you've covered, who was the stupidest / most frustrating to respond to, as well as what was your favorite video / person to respond to as well? That's a good question, actually. I've covered a lot of people on this channel compared to the previous one, but the stupidest person? Actually, you also point out frustrating, so let's throw Kumo in there. I think Kumo was probably the stupidest and most frustrating to respond to. A big factor on why was the accusations he was throwing around and also denying at the same time. The biggest mistake during that whole controversy with Kumo was that we did not record the conversation we had with him, because that conversation is where the accusations he made originated from. And because he was denying that and we didn't record it, we were pretty much screwed at that point. So because I did not have the recording of our conversation where he was throwing around pedophile accusations, the next best thing I did was gather up a bunch of people that were in the call to give a testimony for me. So yeah, I'd say Kumo is probably the most frustrating. He's like up there with Sean the Legend. I think he's almost as bad as Sean the Legend. My favorite person to respond to is a bit interesting. I guess my favorite would be Under the Mayo, because I made several videos on Under the Mayo. He's really stupid, and it's fun to milk him for how stupid he is and how stupid his takes are and how he always doesn't know, well, mostly always, he almost always doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, he is the biggest pseudo-intellectual I've ever covered that does video game reviews. He just does not know what he's talking about half the time. Why is my channel called Brother Nier, but your Twitter account Netherless? Netherless is the channel name I'm going to be rebranding to at some point. The reason I'm not rebranding right now is because I'm waiting for sprites to be done. I'll show you a few of them. Here's a few of my sprites. Are you going to keep making response videos, or are you planning to branch out? My second channel is branching out, because the whole point of my second channel is that I can do whatever I want. My main channel is more focused on response videos and covering drama. And as for the second channel, I can just do whatever I want. I can talk about whatever I want. I can play games if I want. That's the whole point, is that this is something I can more frequently upload to because I can do whatever I want. Shadow Kenji asks, what are you going to upload on your second channel? Anything. That's the whole point of my second channel, is that I can do anything I want. And like I said earlier, I'm also going to be doing interviews with people because I'm interested in doing interviews with people. Okay, this guy has a buttload of questions. Fuck it, I'll answer all of them. I don't care. Why are you starting another channel? And is it going to affect how often you're able to upload on your main one? I'm starting another channel because why the fuck not? It's a bit of an experiment that I'm doing, is that I can do whatever I want on my second channel, and that's something I feel like I can more frequently upload on. And I don't think that's going to affect how often I upload on my main, because when it comes to my main channel and covering things I want, it's a bit iffy, because I'm not a YouTuber that chases trends like other YouTubers do. I just talk about whatever I want on there. Like at one point, Starfield was trending because it came out, and even though I talked about it at one point, I don't feel like playing it because I don't really care all that much. Are you planning to make any extended reviews or video essays like the time you reviewed Risk of Rain 2 mods? I probably will on the second channel. I'm not too sure about the main anymore, but if I'm going to do more reviews like that, I'll probably upload it on the second channel. Are there any games you're looking forward to in 2024? No, 2024 just started. Are there any channels you find severely underrated in the commentary community or maybe want to collaborate with? That's a good question. I don't know. Probably Chris the Narc, although that's me being biased because I know Chris the Narc. I talk to him sometimes, I tune into his streams, but I'd say Chris the Narc's pretty underrated. I think he needs more subs. I mean, shit, at one point I surpassed Chris the Narc in subs, but he's since then got back the lead because he uploads more frequently than I do. Kinda doing the opposite of the last question. Are there any channels you find severely overrated and want nothing to do with? Rev says Desu. Reason? Defends Lolicon. Enough said. Are you gonna make any more hot takes? I really like the Doom Eternal vs Ultra Kill video. Probably, and if I do, I'm gonna upload it on the second channel once again, because with the hot takes, I only uploaded really 2 videos on the main channel, and I don't think I'm gonna do any more on there. I'm probably gonna upload them on the second channel. Have you over time intentionally started covering more serious topics like exposing pedophiles, or did it sorta just happen? It sort of just happened, not gonna lie. The whole spookish thing, the Roblox child predator that I covered, it sort of just happened because Ruza came to my DMs at one point and DM'd me a document about spookish. And then I decided to cover it, and I decided to reach out to the victim that was involved. And then the whole tomboy shit happened, and then Sean the Legend happened, and then Mama Max happened, and yeah, a lot of shit happened. A lot of the drama that I cover that involves me or anybody else, it kind of just happens. It's a bit of a pattern with me, is that whenever there's drama involving me or drama that I end up covering, it just kind of happens. Covering drama is the same thing as covering video game takes, is that I don't chase trends, I talk about what I want to talk about. He also asked in a reply, have you ever made a video in the past that in retrospect makes you wish you never made it and keeps you up at night? It doesn't keep me up at night, but again, the dark side of Griffin Gaming. Thunderstruck asks, who would you rather come back to YouTube? Leafy, Hypocrite Hunter, or Big Man Gamers? Big Man Gamers. He's the big boy. He is the one we all need. What's a game you like but don't really talk about that much? It's a good question. I feel like there's a couple of games that fit into that actually. There's Dawn of War, and then there's SCP Secret Laboratory. Those 2 games. I like them a lot, but I don't talk about them all that much. Dawn of War is literally my most played game on Steam, and I never talked about it. I used it for B-roll once, but that's about it. What game do you really want a sequel for, even though you know it will likely never happen? My mind's a bit blurry on that. That is a really good question. I would say Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct, the reboot, came out in 2013, and we've gotten 3 seasons since then, plus some bonus characters, and then not much has happened since then, but I'm really hoping that Killer Instinct at some point gets a sequel. Oh, since it's a fighting game, Primal Rage. Primal Rage needs a sequel. I really hope at some point we get a brand new Primal Rage, even though it's never gonna happen. Primal Rage is dead. It's only gotten 1 game, and then a second game that was cancelled at one point, And then ever since then, we've never got a new Primal Rage. Primal Rage is fire. It doesn't help that I am very biased towards this game because I love dinosaurs. Microsoft, please, Primal Rage 2 or a Primal Rage reboot. Please, for the love of God, make it happen. How come you never hang out on Discord anymore? Okay, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, buddy, okay? It's not the fact that I don't hang out on Discord anymore. It's the fact I don't hang out with you on Discord. Sorry, buddy. Had to do it. Feel free to DM me, though. Why is it better to play Ultra Kill with the gun on the... Stop that. What are the 16-digit... Okay, I'm done. X Lucas asked, what was your gateway band, or some of your favorite albums? And is there any videos you wish you had the chance to do over again and improve? My gateway band to metal? I mean, one of the very first bands that my dad got me into was a band called Saliva. I really liked Saliva back then, and then after Saliva, I was introduced to Metallica and Candlebox and Disturbed. And then later on, I would discover bands like Demon Hunter and Slipknot and Behemoth, and then, yeah, it just evolved into death metal, and that's when I became a metalhead. The Bro Dater asks, favorite movie? Probably Across the Spider-Verse. Big Country asks, least favorite music? It is a tie between rap and country. Both of those music genres I absolutely hate, and anytime I hear them, I am absolutely disgusted. That one guy on the internet asks, are there videos that you feel don't hold up anymore, like outdated info and stuff like that? Honestly, it's not about really outdated info with my videos because I don't feel like anything is outdated on what I've said, but any of my videos where I defended Battlefield 2042, just disregard them. They don't matter anymore because I used to play Battlefield 2042 a lot and I don't anymore. I absolutely hate the game now and I used to defend it, so just ignore those videos. They don't matter. Also, what's your favorite species of moth? Mine is the hemisphere, whatever that says. No, I don't have a favorite species of moth. They look pretty. That's about it. Death Meter asks, what's the hardest challenge you faced in a game? Probably any Souls game out there, and I don't play Souls games all that much. Hex5620 asks, what's your advice for YouTubers starting out? Do what you love the most. My whole ideology on YouTube is that it's not about the views, it's about doing what you love. Even if you do something really cool and you get 1 subscriber out of it, I feel like that's all that matters. You can be inspired by somebody, but you don't have to do exactly what they do. Do what you love. And most of the time, if you do what you love, you'll succeed. Spawner Ring asks, have you ever filed community guideline strikes against channels where the uploaders use their platform to commit, promote, incite, and or instigate crime? If you did, please show flag history. During the Saith drama, he has been re-uploading a bunch of videos that were formerly taken down. And so, like, I reported his channel at one point, and I also asked a bunch of people to report his channel too. So, yeah, there's that. I think Saith is literally the only person I've reported on YouTube. Sergey Productions asks, since it's common knowledge you're a femboy, what is your opinion on thigh highs? Thigh highs are absolutely needed because thigh highs are absolute femboy fashion. My fellow femboys, it is essential that you get thigh highs. Eye of Cthulhu asks, if you could create God, would you do it? Now the better question would be, why create God when you can become God? Kessia Bastard asks, what's the most disappointing game you've ever played? Dawn of War 2, and that is because it is completely different from Dawn of War 1. It doesn't improve at all of what Dawn of War 1 accomplished, it is just completely different and unnecessary. And I never played Dawn of War 3 and I never will, but I'm just gonna say it probably applies to that game too. Dank Memer asks, what game genres do you generally not care for, dislike, or hate? Like I said earlier, puzzle games like that, realistic games, like overly realistic, like games like Escape from Tarkov. Oh, Battle Royales too. I hate Battle Royales. They are absolutely stupid. I played games like Fortnite and PUBG. I hated them both. Mario Balotelli asks, do you still enjoy making YouTube videos? Yeah, I'd say so. Because back then when I made videos on the previous channel, I didn't really enjoy it unless if it was something I cared about, because like back on my older channel, I used to cover console wars, which I didn't really care all that much. So with my current state, I'd say, yeah, I'm enjoying making YouTube videos. Krillix asks, do you love me? Some guy offline asks, in the past year, what games stood out to you the most? Probably Baldur's Gate 3 and Your Only Move is Hustle. Those two games I played and they're pretty cool in their own right. With Baldur's Gate being one of the best RPGs ever made, to Yomi Hustle, which is one of the most experimental and innovative and best fighting games ever made. Z-Nexus asks, Vegemite or ham and cheese shapes? I don't know, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? Ham and cheese, I guess. I like ham and cheese, that's your answer. I don't know what you're actually asking for. Badakanta asks, what is your favorite game of all time and why is it Doom 2? I hate to break it to you, pal, but my favorite game of all time is not Doom 2, as much as you want to gaslight me into thinking it is. I actually stated it in my hot takes video that my favorite game of all time is StarCraft 2. Although since the level editor for Ultra Kill is coming out soon and the violence layer came out, I gotta say, Ultra Kill is pretty close to getting up there and beating StarCraft 2. Like, once Ultra Kill reaches a certain level, then that game will probably overtake StarCraft 2 as my favorite game of all time. Deathshot asks, why do you prefer Soul Calibur over other fighting games? I just like the way Soul Calibur plays. Like, it has a really unique fighting system compared to games like Killer Instinct or Mortal Kombat. What makes you interested in Nier games? It mainly has to do with the story, because the story of Nier really inspired me to work on my own writing and write my own stories. That and the games themselves were just pretty fun to play. What's my hottest take in the FPS genre? It's probably the fact that I don't like Halo. Kabu Lord of Cinder asks, what is my favorite color? I have two favorite colors, red and black. My favorite color used to be green, but I have since changed my opinion as red in general looks pretty cool, especially if you combine red with black. What inspires me to make videos? It's quite simple. If I care about it, I make a video on it. And what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? I don't understand what you're saying there. And then the final question we have is from Like Some Rice. He asks, what's a game you like but can't really get into? Okay, this one is easy. Minecraft. I really like Minecraft and I like the way it plays, but I don't really dedicate my time into it like I used to when I was a kid. But if a Psych Ward Minecraft server ends up happening, I will probably play Minecraft more. Again, the reason why I don't get into Minecraft a lot is the same reason I don't play most games that I have in my library, is that I'm way too distracted with games like Ultra Kill. And if I think one is more fun than the other, why would I go play that one? I don't hate Minecraft, I just don't find myself interested in playing it all that much. And with that, that is going to do it for the Q&A. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you all for submitting your questions. If I didn't get to your question, it's most likely because I already answered it with a previous comment, but nonetheless, I enjoyed answering your questions. Thank you all so much for watching. I already have a few more videos coming to the second channel in the works. A couple of them are actually already done, so why don't y'all go ahead and hit that subscribe button for my second channel, because I'm sure you'll be hyped for those. I'm sure you'll be hyped for things that I like and doing whatever I want, and not some commentary beef that I usually cover on my main channel that y'all are interested in. I hope that I make pretty good company instead of what I usually do. But yes, that is going to do it for the Q&A. Thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe. Please follow my Twitter. I need clout, all that stuff. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.